Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's May 1st, 2021. So, we've been looking at dunes here in the last couple videos, and the dunes just keep getting weirder and weirder in so many different ways. First of all the different dunes. These are constructions, okay? That's what I'm here to tell you today. These sand dunes, or what they call dunes, are not dunes at all. They are actually massive cities. And today I'm going to show you two. And maybe next week I'll show you two more. And the week after that, two more. And then down the road. I mean, how many of these cities do you want to see? There's enough of them to go around, believe me. It's astounding. And I'm also going out on a limb to tell you today, I probably have said it before, Mars is covered with people. It's covered with massive cities. Look at these structures. Look at all those. And this is the way all of these black dunes are. Every one of them. And it's not just the black dunes. There's white dunes. There's, I can't even tell you. There's so many different shapes and colors. And they're all so unique. And they are all made up of structures. And all of the coloration, or all of the shading, these pictures are in black and white, but all of the shading, every single building and every detail of this picture is purposely colored or purposely shaded. Nothing gets by. And when we look at these pictures and they look natural. I mean, they do, and maybe that's possibly why they do it from space. Although, not from space, but possibly that's why they do it. So when you look at these pictures from space, you'll think they're natural. But there's too many of them. And how do you cover up giant cities? And not only that, if they are dunes, then why do they put these different markings in the dune, these colorations? So you see this particular dune that we're looking at almost looks like a tortoise shell look. You see? Now, if they want to call these dunes and camouflage them, so when you look at them from space, why would they put in this tortoise shell look anyway? I don't get it. So we want to look at all of the bright spots in these pictures. These are the highlighted areas that are supposed to be the sun. And when you look at these highlighted areas, because they are brighter, it's easier to see the structures in these light areas. Much like the cities that I've shown before of the giant skyscrapers where they pack everything together, it's hard to see or differentiate all those individual structures. But when you see this white or these lighter colored, you can very clearly see these structures. And I have to wonder. I mean, I've got a lot of wondering to do here. We all should. So we have these incredible dunes with these buildings by the millions, literally by the many millions. And what's underneath them? Was it just built up of buildings and structures? I think that's true. I've seen a couple of pictures that look like dunes under construction, and it seems to me that somehow they do some kind of a grid work, and these buildings go up on top of each other. Personally, I would want to be on the top, not in the middle. Now, here is a example of something under construction, I think. Now, this arm coming down here, it's another one of these, the tops of the dunes where it's bright looking, and has a row of white buildings along the top. You see that? You can see that pretty clear. And this is the line that usually marks the point between where the sun is shining and where it gets dark or light on the other side, whichever the case may be. The intricacy of this construction, this is just beyond belief. And here's another example of what we were just talking about. You can see that row of buildings going along the top there, all individuals. And possibly that's still under construction, I don't know. But think of, first of all, the number of structures. The number of structures has got to be in the many, many, many millions. How long does it take to build many, many millions of structures? And not only build them, but to build them in this way. This is such an incredible construction. Now, again, you see the bright spots. Those are what are supposed to be the tops of the dunes. And again, that's where you can most easily see the structures. And then in between the bright spots is what you might call the little valleys, the bottom of the undulations. And it's just another place where you can very clearly see all of these structures. And again, I'm going to emphasize this quite a few times. There is no coloration, there is no shading, not one single bit of shading on these constructions that is not put there. This has nothing to do with lighting. This has nothing to do with the angle of the sun or anything like that. This is all man-made right down to the very last building. All of these tortoiseshell looks are rows of black buildings. You might have seen that when I was babbling on and on. It's just a detail. Now here is a beautiful, beautiful, incredible picture of just one section of a dune area. I have no idea how much bigger this is. It looks like it goes out quite a bit further on each side of the picture. Isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? And here again, this is all shaded manually. Again, it has nothing to do with sunlight or light or darkness or anything like that. This area that we're looking at here kind of looks like the head of a fox. And it has a couple of ears going up, and we're going to be crawling into his ears here pretty soon. But look at the texturing. I just don't even know what to say. It's so incredible. It's so amazing, mesmerizing, alien, futuristic, whatever you want to call it. You see the dark stripe down the middle? That's not shading. Those are dark buildings. You see the just right of center, up a little bit, a row of white buildings. There they are on the left going up. Just like in the other picture, it's a detail, except this row of buildings is white. In the previous image, the rows were black. And to the right, you can see where the sun is supposed to be hitting on that side of the dune. And for some reason, you know, we have bright, medium, and dark. And the medium colors seem to be harder to see for some reason. And also, it seems to me that in some of those areas where they have the transition color shade, that they actually use larger structures in that transition shade too. I'm not positive about that, but I think so. Here you can see this area going up to the right. It looks like there's some tall structures up there. And this just kind of wraps around. And it's interesting when you see these pictures how you can see all the different angles of how these structures are coming together. And in case you can't tell, or in case you haven't been following my channel, these rows that you see are rows of individual structures. You know, unfortunately, we just don't have the clarity yet to completely get that, but there's some pictures out there. We're going to be able to do it. Look at that cityscape in the middle there. A couple of very large, tall structures. But generally speaking, for the most part, I'd say about 90% of all of the structures on these dunes are all the same size and same shape, but there are bigger ones and smaller ones mixed in. So, what? Millions of years? I mentioned it in the last video that they say aliens have been here on Earth for 270 million years. Well, they've been on Mars too. And I'm sure, and I'm positive, that they've been on Venus and every other rock in our solar system. You don't think they're going to have this kind of a civilization where Mars is literally covered with, trillions and trillions of people, that it's only going to be on Mars. So you've probably seen some of the pictures of Venus that are very, they make you think that you're looking at a lot of construction. Here's the middle of that ear coming down. Yeah, there. The other thing is how do you get to this point? I mean, they didn't start out building dunes, right? Did they? I mean, why did they? I'm sure. Well, we've seen pictures where they have cities on the flat. So how come they came up with these damn dunes, man? It's crazy. And the designs, all the different designs are just incredible. There on the left-hand side in the light area, once again, we got a great view of all those structures. Yeah, there has to be, we're never going to have any answers. We can look at this stuff and we can try and figure it all out and how it could be and all of that, but we're never going to have, no one's ever going to take us by the hand and say, okay, this is what's going on. Again, in the light area, look at all these buildings. Down to the bottom corner on the right, some tall buildings. So how does this work? They come up with a design like a few million years ago, and they stick to it, and they just keep building and building and building till it's complete. And then when the city wants to grow, then they have another dune that goes off in another direction. And this always begs the question, and I've said it over and over that they've got it all figured out, but damn, there's a lot of people. What are they eating? I mean, seriously. Maybe they have pills, like, or they eat like the Jetsons did, that little protein pills and all that, little tiny stuff, and, it's all so good for you. I don't know. So we're going to be looking at more of these dunes. I have some mind-boggling pictures for you. I just don't even know what to say. Almost a herringbone look there in the middle. One thing I will say though is, at least in this particular picture, but really all of the dune pictures, but this one is really, really beautiful. And look at all the shading. That's all done with individual buildings. Man, wow, I'm looking forward to the next videos. Thanks for watching, everyone.